The following program contains material that is not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Mountain Wellness. I'm your host, Christine Napier. This is a show about mental health with the goal of increasing the conversation and reducing the stigma around mental illness. Today we meet Conrad. He was diagnosed with bipolar 2 when he was a teenager and struggled for many, many years. Because he is so open and raw about his journey, this story may not be appropriate for all audiences, especially younger children. While it's normal to have mood swings, bipolar 2 causes you to have very severe swings that may impair your judgment. Let's hear more about Conrad's incredible story. Park City Television is looking for organizations to partner with us on this community project. To have your story featured or for sponsorship opportunities, please contact the station. Welcome back to Mountain Wellness, a show where we are increasing the conversation around mental health. Before the break, Conrad shared with us his early struggles with bipolar. Let's find out the catalyst that caused him to find the motivation to survive.
So it took from when I was diagnosed at 13, probably till about 19 or 20, till I got functional. And what made me better was I had an accident where this was in college now, and I was driving to school. I was going to Lake Tahoe Community College at the time, and I just got out of a messy relationship with a friend. And I was driving to school, and I broke down. I had to pull off on the side of the road because I was crying so hard. And I couldn't go to school. I'm like, no one can see me like this. So I went back home, closed my door, and I went, all right, I'm going to kill myself. I'm tired of feeling like this. It's been 6 years, and I'm not better. I cut my wrist open, popped hundreds and hundreds of pills, put on a song that I wanted to go out listening to. I remember laying down on the ground, shaking just from my body, not knowing what the hell to do. And I remember my eyes closing, and I remember accepting that I was going to die. My mom came home from work an hour early, which was weird. Like, my mom usually worked 12-hour shifts. They're like, oh yeah, we're not busy today, go home. And she goes home and she sees my door closed and she hears music playing. And I remember her telling me, she's like, I knocked on your door, you didn't answer, so I figured, oh, he's just sleeping. And she went, no. Opened the door, and I was laying down on the ground and I was purple. And my mom, being, and from, medical background, looked at me and made the decision with her son that, do I try to bring him back to life because he could be a vegetable for the rest of his life from brain damage, or is this the final chapter? Paramedics came, they tried defibrillating me, didn't work, so they had to stick a needle like this long into my knee to try to get some type of blood going because they couldn't find any veins because I was not pumping blood. I did flatline. They got me to breathe a little bit, and then I was rushed to the hospital. And then I woke up in the hospital, and I had a tube down my throat that was pumping my lungs for me. I was intubated, and I had family and friends around me crying because I had killed myself. And then they shipped me to a mental hospital in Sacramento, where I was there for another 2 weeks and trying to figure out what was happening then. And then as soon as I got out of the hospital, I went back to school. And that's what kind of helped me, because I realized I was tired of having people worry about me. And so I made the decision that I was just like, I gotta get better. And it was hard. It was difficult. There were plenty of times where I saw anything to hurt myself, or I still had meds, and I was like, I could just do it. It was almost like an addiction at that point. And so it was pretty much cold turkeying to get better, which was hard.
Thank you, Conrad, for sharing your personal journey with bipolar disorder. When we come back, we find out what Conrad is doing even to this day that helps him survive this mental illness. Park City Television is looking for organizations to partner with us on this community project. To have your story featured or for sponsorship opportunities, please contact the station. Welcome back to Mountain Wellness, a show with the goal of reducing the stigma around mental health by having honest and real conversations. Let's find out what Conrad still does to this day to keep himself healthy.
I had to hit rock bottom in order to feel good. Those 6 years, I was probably in the hospital 12 times. And so when I got done with this episode at 19, I basically was like, all right, someone doesn't want me dead. Someone still wants me alive. I guess I need to start doing something. And I was sick and tired of it at that point. And it was funny because we just got my dog Jasper at the time. And my dog was like the biggest inspiration for me to get better because I was so connected with this dog at the time. Like Jasper was one of the reasons why I sold him in my life. So it was me being tired, but also me being like, I love this dog to death. I don't want to leave this dog. Like it's funny because it's some of the smallest things in life that made me feel better. And so, yeah, I just got to the point where I was so sick and tired of wanting to kill myself and being sad that I was like, all right, it's time to do something about this. And for me to be sitting in this chair, pretty much a miracle. So, I mean, I would just tell people to keep fighting the good fight, that, you know what, you're going to hit rock bottom. And you could go months with being at rock bottom. Some days are not going to get better. Some days are going to progressively get worse, and you have to find the strength within you to keep on going, that no matter how dark life seems, there is a light somewhere to help guide you, and you will find it. Even though there's some days, you know, I'm at work and I'm sitting at my computer and I see people happy and laughing, I feel like there's a force field around me, and I still have to ask myself, can I be happy? Can I still do this? And more than often the time, the answer is yes now, which I'm happy about because I know how to do it. As someone who has been through suicide, I understand. I'm never in the mindset of that person's selfish. I know the pain, and I know that sometimes the pain is so great that you are truly thinking about others and thinking that it's better if I'm gone. And it's up to people helping people to realize that the world's not better when they're gone. The world still needs them. Just be there for them. And you may be getting phone calls at 2, 3 a.m., but I think in the long run, if they're calling you at 2, 3 a.m. 10 years later to say, hey, I got married or something, or just to talk to you, that's better than not getting a phone call at all because they lost. And this is coming from someone who absolutely hated himself. There's some mornings I wake up and, you know, living on my own, you know, I wake up in the morning and my pills are on my nightstand. There are some mornings where I go, I could do it. And then I have my cat jump on me, and that starts to remind me that life is good, that life is still worth living. You have to be comfortable with yourself. You have to find yourself. You have to be willing to stand alone with yourself. I'm still doing it. I'm getting better. You can do it. You just have to find yourself. You have to be willing to help yourself. You just got to find the strength. It's hard, but you can do it. I have all the faith in you. Believe in the me that believes in you.
Conrad's journey was a very difficult one. One way he has found mental wellness is through therapy. Up next, we talk to Allison Page of Trail Talk. She takes therapy out to the trails, and she also talks to us about the very important concept of getting therapy when you need it.
I'm Allison Page. I am a psychiatric nurse practitioner, mental health counselor, and I own a company called Trail Talk. We take therapy off the couch and onto the trail. Our vision was to join the movement to destigmatize emotional care for active functional folks. Our model of care is called Therapy Light, and it's about shedding light on the shame and stigma of emotional care for active functional folks like us talking today. Trail Talk really hopes people will seek therapy like they do preventive health care. So we all go in and take care of our bodies. We go in for routine checkups. We go in when we have a virus to get medication or some natural supplements to help us make it through a particular virus. And we're hoping that people will seek health care like what we call emotional tune-ups. So on a regular basis, so when things aren't working in your relationship or you're feeling some anxiety and you can't identify it, or you're feeling depressed, seek help. And help doesn't mean that you're sick. It means you're falling in and out of mental wellness. The stigma around mental health goes way back, and people have historically thought that anything from the neck up is self-will. And it's not true. Our brain is an organ like the rest of our bodies, like our heart and our lungs. It requires more oxygen and sugar than many of our other organs. It competes directly with the heart, because without the heart and brain, we can't exist. So the stigma is all about past generations saying, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You can do this. You don't need to ask for help. Help looks like weakness. So weak meant you couldn't do it on your own. And so I think that it's just generationally that's what's happened, and everybody's family of origin is different. Many of us feel that we aren't sick enough to get emotional care, or we should be able to do it on our own because look at competitive athlete, or I'm a high-performing executive. Why are my relationships suffering? Why can't I do it on my own? And so that's why there's guilt in thinking that we can do it in one arena in our lives, but why can't we do it in another? If we're genetically loaded with depression, anxiety, bipolar spectrum disease, schizophrenia, or any other addictions, there are familial patterns. Again, we don't know enough about every single mental health issue yet to say where the gene comes from, but there's familial patterns. When we don't have enough serotonin, norepinephrine, or dopamine, or too much dopamine, there are medications that can help that, and that's where medications come in the world of Trail Talk. And we have Trail Talk RX, and it's something to look at on our website. Mental illness has a lot of stigma around it. We don't want to be mentally ill. It just sounds so bad. Just like if you have an illness, just because you have a virus or you have some type of physical problem, we don't think that we're bad. We're not ashamed about it. We shouldn't be ashamed about our mental health either. So we're shifting the paradigm from a mental illness perspective to a mental wellness perspective. And just like when you get sick physically, you seek physical support, and when you fall out of mental wellness, it's time for you to seek emotional support, and that's what we call emotional tune-ups. That's what we hope people call Trail Talk. If you're interested in walking and talking with a Trail Talk therapist, you can go to our website. It's trailtalk.com, pretty simple, and check us out. Find a location near you. You can either do it online, you can text us, call us, whatever your mode of communication is, we're available.
Therapy can make a big difference when learning how to manage a mental illness, but it's not the only piece, and that was especially true in Conrad's story. Up next, we talk about something else that helped Conrad learn how to cope, and it's a warm and fuzzy one. We'll be right back. Park City Television is looking for organizations to partner with us on this community project. To have your story featured or for sponsorship opportunities, please contact the station. Welcome back to Mountain Wellness. Emotional support animals are on the rise. We know that in Conrad's case, his dog Jasper really helped give him that motivation to heal and to stay well. Therapy Animals of Utah is an organization that travels all over the state. They go to schools, hospitals, courtrooms, anywhere that there is a need for mental wellness support. Let's find more about this great organization.
Well, I'm a speech therapist, and I've worked in rehab medicine for 30 years, so I've been around therapy animal dogs, and I see their impact and how positive it can be with folks, and decided to get involved in volunteering in some way, and I thought this was the perfect match and fit. And it's a great organization. The training's very thorough.
There's a couple things you have to do in order to become a therapy dog, a therapy team, and there's training for the handler, and then there's also training for the animal. And the dog has to pass a test. I think it has 18 different points or something like that that you have to pass 100% in order to be qualified and certified as a therapy animal. When we decided to get into this, I knew Stella would be a natural for it because she's so mellow. She loves attention. She's just got a very calm personality. She's just a natural for it. She loves the attention and she'll take it all day. I always say it's a tough job to have, but somebody's got to do it, just to walk into a room and everybody tell you how beautiful you are and just love on you for the next hour. So she loves it. There are a lot of different opportunities, different things you can get involved in. We go to Altaview Hospital on a regular basis and we visit with patients and also the staff. They look forward to seeing Stella.
Being part of a crisis counseling group opportunity was very profound and very honored to be a part of such a thing. And Ella definitely rose to the occasion and comforted those in a grief situation. She interacted with someone that was crying last week, and very quickly the tears stopped and it turned to laughter and kind of comfortable conversation within just a few minutes. So
one of the benefits of having a therapy animal visit you is they have shown that it lowers your blood pressure, it lowers your heart rate, and clinically they've observed this. Kind of one of the fun things that a lot of people who have therapy animals have is they have a little business card for their animal. Stella has her own card, and on the back it says we're with Therapy Animals of Utah, and then she also has a Facebook and Instagram page that the kids like to follow, and if you want to follow her, you just follow her at Stella Volunteers.
I'm glad that she can bring joy and comfort to a lot of other people. I like sharing you, don't I? Paul? Yeah, we like to hold hands. What do you think, Ella? Do you have anything to say?
Thank you, Therapy Animals of Utah, for letting us film at one of your events. We appreciate everything you and your animals do across the state to help us feel mentally well. We also want to thank Conrad for sharing the hardest journey of his life. If you or anyone you know are struggling with suicidal thoughts, do not hesitate to call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Thank you for watching this episode of Mountain Wellness. I'm your host, Christine Napier. We will see you next time. Park City Television is looking for organizations to partner with us on this community project. To have your story featured or for sponsorship opportunities, please contact the station.